What's up, everybody, and welcome into today's video where we will be discussing DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and what this potentially could mean for real estate and real estate cuts. This department has been executed and put into place by new President-elect Donald Trump, and it's set to be head off by Mr. Elon Musk and Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy. It's a very interesting time for American politics. And on this channel, we talk all about real estate investing. We're going to be talking about this new department. I guess we're calling it a department. It's called a department, but it's actually outside the U.S. government, which is super interesting. It's almost like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to be consulting, and it's their job to make the government more efficient. Elon Musk has been quoted saying he can cut $2 trillion off the budget, save America a lot of money. This is what we're hoping for. And it's just such an interesting time. If you have not been following American politics right now, prior to the election, where Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris, and now post-election, it is just fireworks every single day, everybody. And this is just another example of just that. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. Elon Musk is arguably the Thomas Edison of our time. I mean, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on politically, you cannot discredit this man. He is the richest man in the world, but he is just a pioneer on so many levels. Even if you don't like him, you got to admit what he's doing with SpaceX and what he's done with Tesla, and now he's purchased X. We're going to be looking at a video on X here, but that was Twitter. And everything's different now. Everything feels different. It's a very interesting time. And now Elon Musk is working with the Trump administration and working with Vivek Ramaswamy. If you're not familiar with Vivek, he's another self-made billionaire. And they're all about trimming the fat, cutting out the nonsense, cutting out the waste from the U.S. government. And ultimately, everybody should want that, whether you like Elon and Vivek or not. We should all be rooting for our tax dollars. We all sit here and pay taxes. We should have a say, or at least, we shouldn't be wasting our tax dollars. That's an insult to all of us because we all got to pay taxes. So we should all want our tax dollars maximized. And I believe that is the intention of this team that's been created here by the Trump administration. So we're going to get into what DOGE is here, but then I want you to watch this video from Vivek Ramaswamy. He says some really good things. And I mean, I'm interested to hear what your comments are. Let me know in the comments. What do you think this is all about as far as do you think this is valid? Do you think this is legit? I don't know how anyone could root against what these guys are saying they're going to be able to do. And I believe them. How do you bet against Elon Musk? The guy has done some incredible things. Like I said, he's basically one of the top minds on the planet right now. So let's get into a little bit here on kind of what this DOGE is all about. First and foremost, so Musk alongside fellow billionaire and GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy will lead off the DOGE Bureau. So it's being called a bureau. Trump announced Wednesday with the name DOGE, dog meme, often referenced by Musk. Elon Musk is just a joker. I don't know if you followed when he purchased Twitter and made it X. He threw in the digits 420 in there, and that's code for cannabis and things like that. Musk is a jokester, so not too surprised that he did the Doge thing, and obviously that's referencing the Doge coin, and he was bullish on that. And I think he's just a joker at the end of the day, and I just think it's kind of funny. More so what I'm interested in is what this commission or what this bureau is actually going to produce. We want to see results. And again, like I said, I don't care what side of the political aisle you are on. We want to see our tax dollars put to work, and we want to make our country better. So despite the name, the billionaire-led commission is not proposed as an official government agency. This is interesting. But rather, it's an advisory board, and it's going to provide advice and guidance from outside of the government. This is a quote from Donald Trump. So who set forth the department's primary objectives are to to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, and cut wasteful expenditures and restructure federal agencies. So basically, Trump said that the commission will wrap and it'll be done by July 4th, 2026. And then Musk posted Wednesday on his X social media platform that he expects it to be done much faster. So it feels like this is just going to be like an outside consultation type of thing. And, what they're talking about, let's look down here. Ramaswamy called Wednesday for a massive downsizing, while Musk backed a roughly 75% reduction in the amount of U.S. federal agencies. So here's the thing when it comes, they're talking about removing all these federal agencies and whatnot. It's kind of impossible to just straight up cut an agency completely, because that would have to go through Congress, right? I mean, you're just to completely cut out. Reagan tried to do stuff like this as well, and it just never happened because you would need a large majority of the vote from Congress, and there's still a lot of what they call rhino Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans, even though Republicans currently have the majority in the Senate and the House of Representatives, there's still a lot of Republicans that don't like Donald Trump or his policies. And that's what they call rhino Republicans. But to straight up just cut these departments out, I don't know how realistic that is. But Vivek Ramaswamy has a good idea. I want you to check this out. So what they're talking about doing is cutting out bureaucracy. What the bureaucrats are, you've probably heard this term before. You might not know exactly what it means. It's basically government employees. These are non-elected officials that are basically just milking the government. Most of them don't even have to show up to an office or anything like that. They're just collecting checks from the U.S. government. This is what they're talking about doing. So a lot of these are jobs, these bureaucrats, they're employed, so they're protected by certain labor unions. You can't just get in there and just start firing people. You can't, right? They're protected just like most employees are protected. There's unions and there's protection for employees. However, I love what Vivek talks about in this clip that I'm about to share with you right now. There are some legal ways you could kind of get people to maybe even quit on their own. And what they're talking about doing is getting these people who don't even come to the office. They add very little to no value to the government, but they're sitting on their duff and just collecting a check. I mean, I think we can all support cutting out the waste of these people who are milking the U.S. government, because guess what? It's your tax dollars, right? Let's see what Vivek has to say. I really like this.
Millions of illegals out of this country and sealing the border along with it. But I'm actually far more intrigued and interested for the long run in what I think of as the second mass deportation that we require, which is the mass deportation of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the DC bureaucracy. And I do think that is what's going to save this country.
But you can't do that.
I think you actually can.
You can't fire. We can all be fired. I've been fired many times. I'm sure you just lost.
Tucker's being facetious here. He's being, sarcastic.
The presidential race, like we've all, the only group that cannot fail that has actual tenure is not Harvard professors.
Not even. Yep.
It's not even.
Yep.
It's federal bureaucrats. No, Amy Wax just got, tenure is no protection at all compared to the protection of federal employment.
Yeah. So the one difference is, first of all, we have a president who I think has the spine to actually step up and do it. But the second thing is we actually have not to get too, in the weeds here, but we actually have a legal landscape with the current Supreme Court that allows us to do what couldn't have been done in the last half century.
But they have a moral right to work from home 10 hours a week at our expense at a far higher wage than the average American.
Oh, absolutely. So the funny thing is,
but they have a moral right. You can't complain about it.
You actually brought up a really interesting dimension of this. If you literally just mandated that they have to actually show up to work Monday through Friday, I know, radical idea.
They don't go to work.
Actually, a good number of them would quit that way. Right. That step alone. So you don't even have to talk about, you want a mass firing, a mass exodus. Just tell them they have to come back 5 days a week from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. like many Americans, most Americans who work hard to earn a living in this country, just show up physically to work, you'd actually have about a 25% thinning out of the federal bureaucracy right there. So that
very interesting. Very interesting. Vivek is so smart. It's like a legal loopholes. You can't just get in there and start firing these people who are milking your tax dollars. But that's the loophole. What if you just basically made them to start showing up to the office 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., just like many other hardworking Americans, right? Many of them will quit on their own. It's going to be very interesting to see, but they're also talking about just cutting off all this wasteful spending. What does this mean for real estate, everybody? I don't think there's going to be many cuts. You're not hearing about cuts when it comes to, housing and urban development. That's probably going to be head off by Mr. Dr. Ben Carson. He was in charge of HUD during the last Trump presidency. But they're not talking about cutting out Section 8. They're trying to make more housing. They're trying to bring more housing to actually fix the housing shortage that our country is going through. They're bullish on housing and real estate. So when they're talking about making all these cuts, they're literally talking about cutting out the wasteful spending, cutting out these what they call bureaucrats, but they're just employees of the government that add very little to no value, but are sitting on their butt and collecting a check. And most of them just working from home. They have nowhere to show up to. Could you imagine if they just changed the job description and said, look, you got to show up now? I'm a hardworking American, just like I know you are. And it feels pretty good when you can put it to the person who's been milking this entire time. And I would love to see it happen. One last thing that Elon Musk is talking about is making it transparent and actually posting on the internet where the government is spending your tax dollars. I think there should be that level of transparency. Let me know in the comments what you think. Wouldn't you like to see where they're actually spending your money? It's just crazy. I wanted to show you something here. I was able to save a few things here. Look, the U.S. Air Force is paying $90,000 for a small bag of bushings. Look at this guy holding this tiny little bag, right? Home Depot is under $100. This is the kind of stuff they're going to be cutting. We're not cutting housing. We're not cutting Section 8. We're not, if anything, we're saving money on this wasteful spending so we have more money for affordable housing, so we have more things of that nature. Here's one last thing. Obama spent $65,000 of taxpayer dollars flying pizza and hot dogs to the White House for a private party. Can Doge look into this? Elon and Vivek. This is a very exciting time. It's a very interesting time. If you're not following along with this stuff, you are missing out, everybody. But I think it's a good thing. I think if we can cut wasteful spending, I'm a conservative when it comes to fiscal, when it comes to money, when it comes to our investments. On this channel, we're real estate investors, right? We can't afford to be blowing money. We're always trying to save money and provide good, clean, safe, affordable housing, right? That's what we want to do. So it really piques my interest to see where we can cut some of the waste. Let me know in the comments what you think about the whole proposition here as far as Doge and some of these cuts, some of this wasteful spending, and then also what they are talking about doing with these bureaucrats who are wasting your taxpayer money and just collecting it and not adding any value whatsoever. Can we do that? Can we get them to show up to the office from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. like fellow hardworking Americans? Will many of them quit? I think this is a good thing, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. It really provides a lot of inspiration to us as we see our channel continue to grow. And let me know what you think in the comments. I reply to every single one of our comments, and I will see you all on the next video.